Air India flight carrying 242 passengers crashed just 5 minutes after taking off from Ahmedabad airport today. The flight heading to London lost contact shortly after departure, and emergency teams have rushed to the crash site. At the moment, authorities are investigating the cause of this tragic incident and rescue operations are underway. To get more perspective on this developing story, we are now being joined by Terry Tozer, who is a former airline pilot. Terry, thank you for joining us on Firstpost.
You're welcome.
The crash is surely tragic. As a former pilot yourself, what do you think could have gone wrong today, especially since new updates suggest the Air India flight issued a mayday call shortly after takeoff?
Yes, it's very hard to know. It's so soon after the accident. And it obviously is an awful tragedy. But the video that you're just showing now does raise questions if that is indeed the accurate video of the aircraft, because it does not appear to have any takeoff flap selected. Now, if the flap, in fact, was not in the correct position, the aircraft simply will not fly. And, on the face of it, that looks as if the wing was completely clean with no flap setting at all, which is very unusual. I can't think of a situation in which that would occur.
Terry, that's a very important point you make over here about the flaps. But the initial 5 to 10 minutes before and after takeoff are often considered the most critical. Why are these initial minutes so risky?
Well, every public transport aircraft, and this will apply to the Boeing in this instance as well, has to meet the regulations which require that it can have a catastrophic failure of an engine at the most critical point in takeoff and still continue safely. So there are a lot of safety margins built into these aircraft. Now, if, for example, the crew forgot to select the flaps for takeoff, there should be a warning to tell them what's happened. So maybe the flaps came up after they were originally set. We're guessing at this point what might have happened, but it would be a critical fact that the aircraft would need takeoff flap setting in order to take off and meet the performance regulations that it was designed to meet.
Now, apart from the flaps, the Air India aircraft was a 787 Boeing model. And time and again, this particular model has faced issues, not just in India, but around the world. Why are there so many concerns regarding this particular model?
I don't think there are concerns about the 787. It had some issues when it was first produced with its lithium batteries catching fire. Now, I mean, obviously that's a serious matter. But that has been resolved a long, long while ago. The Boeings that had a controversial history was the Boeing 737 MAX, which was a development of a very old design and a controversial one at that. This aircraft was designed from scratch as a new aircraft type and has been very, very successful. So far as I remember, there has never been a fatal crash involving this aircraft.
Right. Now, commercial aircraft on an average can be in service for around 30 years. How important is regular maintenance and ongoing pilot training in preventing such tragedies?
Maintenance is important, but the aircraft have a lot of redundancy systems. The single most important thing, and it's what I've written my book about, is the way the crew operate. And pilot training is the most important factor in aviation safety. If the airline has a good safety culture, flying is a very safe form of transport. I wouldn't want to speculate. I certainly wouldn't want to point the finger at this crew or anything like that at this point, because we simply don't know why the aircraft was in this situation.
Speaking of safety, naturally there's panic among travelers after today's crash. What immediate steps do you think should be taken to restore public confidence in air travel?
Well, I think it's a question of, first of all, establishing what the issue was, and that could take quite a long while. I mean, flying is extremely safe as a general rule, and it's going to be when the accident investigators get to the bottom of what happened, that is what will either increase confidence or the opposite. I mean, it will depend very much on the outcome.
That was Terry Tozer, who's a former airline pilot. Terry, thank you for sharing your insights with First
You're
Post.
very welcome. Thank you. Bye bye.